Believe it or not, even the world's best automakers have turned out some truly horrifying products over the years. To celebrate these failures, we've cataloged the top 10 awful cars from great manufacturers. Are you ready for another short list? Yep, it's true. We all can't be winners, nor can every single vehicle out there, or sport coat for that matter. It's just not possible. So what exactly are the worst products from some of the most hallowed manufacturers? Well, I am glad I asked, because we start off with a true heavy hitter, an enthusiast's wet dream. Ferrari is known the world over for its soul-stirring high-dollar vehicles, but even Maranello has created a few duds, like the Mondial. This coupe was cursed with less than lust-worthy proportions thanks to its 4-seat cabin and mid-mounted engine. Performance wasn't befitting of a Ferrari either, though it did improve as time went on. Still, this car is kind of a dud. A favorite of super spy James Bond, Aston Martin has built plenty of amazing automobiles, but the original Lagonda probably isn't one of them. Sure, it featured a cutting-edge digital dashboard, but in true British fashion, it was always on strike. Throw in homely styling with a steep price tag, and you have all the ingredients needed for vehicular failure. Acura may not be revered like Ferrari or Aston Martin, but from their NSX to the Integra, they have built some pretty cool cars. Unfortunately, their ZDX crossover can't be used in the same breath as these machines, and consequently is our number 8 finisher on this list. Building on the bad idea that spawned BMW's saggy-roofed X6, this Acura had a cramped back seat, ungainly styling, and steep pricing, enough liabilities to doom it from day one. In hindsight, I kind of like that Aston Martin Lagonda's styling. Sure, it's a little unwieldy, but there is a certain honesty to it. Anyway, I do not feel the same way about our 7th place finisher. The Mercedes-Benz AClass looks more like a piece of cheese than a car, with an unusual wedge-shaped silhouette. It's ungainly from all angles, especially the driver's seat, thanks to its top heaviness. Famously, it failed Sweden's Moose Test obstacle avoidance evaluation by actually rolling over, which is exactly what Carl Benz would be doing in his grave if he saw his name attached to this monstrosity. Jaguar used to be owned by Ford, and like just about everything else that's not an F-Series or Mustang, they screwed it up. The 2001 XType is a textbook blue oval blunder, a perfect example of badge engineering gone wrong. To keep costs down, this entry-level Jag was essentially a reskinned Ford Mondeo, a mass-market front-drive family car. What a wicked thing to do. Does that sound appropriate for a top-shelf luxury brand? Yeah, not so much. Slow, heavy, expensive, complicated. These are but a handful of words that describe the 5th place finisher on this top 10 list. The Lexus SC 430 was billed as a grand touring car, but despite the V8 engine and rear-drive platform, it was less fun than enduring surgery without anesthesia. No, thank you. No, really. No means no! With the X-Type and other models, Ford has dabbled in the rebadging business, but GM was the undisputed master of it, something that's proven by the next vehicle here, which still makes me scratch my head until the scalp bleeds. Ouch. Guess I had a scab. I'm talking about the Saab 97X. Can someone please tell me why this quirky Swedish brand needed a body-on-frame SUV, much less one based on the rolling trash can that was the Chevy Trailblazer? Ah, but don't forget about the GMC Envoy, Oldsmobile Bravada, Buick Rainier, and Isuzu Ascender, a few more of its star-crossed siblings.
Once you've built jets, you don't build just another SUV.
The Toyota IQ was a pretty terrible car, an ill-conceived Japanese rival to Daimler's even more disappointing Smart lineup. And here's a shocker. That inherent dreadfulness didn't change if it wore a Scion badge or Aston Martin wings. It was a rolling prison sentence no matter how it was dressed. Predictably, this British automaker's rebranded Signet was every bit as catastrophic, having been introduced to meet European regulations. Get the government out of my business! As you've seen in this feature, the auto industry has a long tradition of trying to make silk purses out of sows' ears. Another prime example of this ill-fated tactic is the Cadillac Cimarron, a lightly reworked version of the Chevrolet Cavalier. Its crudity and ambitious pricing were a malicious slap in the face from a 1980s GM that was adrift and taking on water. A range of weak and unrefined engines truly put the simmer in Cimarron. You know, this might be the worst Cadillac ever. Finally, we come to the number 1 vehicle on this list, and if you think the Chrysler Fiat tie-up is a relatively new thing, well, think again. They've partnered in the past, well, sort of. The 1989 Chrysler TC by Maserati was essentially a gussied-up K-car with Italian styling. Sounds like a great idea. Throw in middling performance with an exospheric price tag, and it was a failure Chrysler management should have been able to spot from across the Atlantic, where the ill-fated TC was built. And on that note, we're done with this not-so-short list. What do you think of our vehicular selections? Are there any automotive abominations we should have included but failed to? Let us know. So, until next time, keep it in the center of the lane and use your turn signal. No, really, you should be signaling more. You know, there's a lot more short list out there than what you've probably seen here, so make sure you look for the top 10 biggest engines. You can check that out on the AutoGuide.com YouTube channel. Just look for it there or do a little searcheroo. Shouldn't be a problem to find it. And of course, I'm going to ask you once again to please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That way you never miss any of the short list. You got the quick take with Jody La. You got well, there's auto show news when that's the time of the year, and you can get like car reviews. Skinny, there's somebody that does those, but you're gonna want to see them all. Feature foci too, it's plural.